Hello, YouTube land, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 70. It's over for us. We passed through episode 69. We're heading into the future, and now the next big milestone is episode 100. So we're going to have to do something special for that one. But of course, I am your host, Dantes, and joining me, like always, Caleones. How you doing, Caleones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yes, we got a pretty packed show today. There's so many things to talk about. I know that before we complain about the having a little bit of scarcity of news and things like that, but were so many things happening this week, game releases and announcements from even other companies outside of Nintendo, which directly affect Nintendo and everybody else. So it's going to be something really interesting. And I know that on some of the topics, Dantes and I, we're not going to see eye to eye exactly, but Dantes, just so we can go ahead and get onto it, let's go. Take over.
Let's take it away with, I want to welcome everybody to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 70. Right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment, so you can make these two crazy MFs happy. Also, I forgot to say in the wording, but hit that bell to help us out. We reached 1,000, and let's just say that we got more views when we were way less subscribers. So let's pick it up, people. Hit that bell. Make sure that you know when our channel and our videos are coming up, so you can join us on the fun. Also, you can get this podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. Rate us over there so you can share some love. Also, go to the description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. Remember, tomorrow, PlayStation Mondays. I am almost done with Spider-Man. I'm ready to move on, trust me. But as a warning, since this is a holiday weekend, we will not be doing any other show this week. So, sorry about that. But hopefully for Christmas, which we are not going to be live, we're going to have some pre-recorded stuff. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks to my boy, Caleones. With all that said, Caleones, are you ready? I said, are you ready? For the no one in attendance. It looks like no one's watching around the world. Let's get ready for Reggie's Hot Topics of the Week.
My body is ready.
My body is ready. And Caleones, start with the first hot topic of the week.
Okay, so the first hot topic of the week is one that send waves all around the gaming world. Something that is so shocking, so unexpected, and something unseen before that everybody was left with their mouths open. And we're talking about the very first time ever that a big company decides not to attend E3. Well, it kind of sounds like Nintendo, what they did a couple of years ago. But I mean, I'm really talking about Sony. They said that this year they're not going to be at E3. But the difference in this one, compared to the other one, is that it's not that they're not just going to be doing a show at E3. It's just that they're not going to be there at all. Like, they're not going to be there. I know that there are certain people that are saying certain things about why this is happening, why they're making the decision. There's people going all the way to the left, others all the way to the right, and like nobody's really meeting in the center of what could really be happening. So hopefully, Dantes and I, we're going to shed light a little of why Sony has made this decision, what it is that's happening behind the curtain, and also how this affects other companies like Nintendo and Microsoft. So, Dantes, if you want to, you can go ahead with this.
So, let's start by explaining why we're bringing this news today, even though this is a Nintendo podcast, and why we're talking about PlayStation. The reason for it is, the biggest question is Sony going to take the same approach as Nintendo and a Nintendo Direct? Because as you guys know, Sony copies everything that Nintendo does. Basically, they're on the console market because of Nintendo. And I know I'm being sarcastic, but there's a major reason because of Nintendo. We're in the console industry right now. But anyway, joking aside, the main reason, and I will say this. So to me, I know people like Caleones was saying, went to the extreme. Some people were saying, oh my God, Sony is making a big mistake. Some people were saying, oh, this is a good move. Some people, mostly in this case, I'm going to say what the Nintendo camp was saying was, oh, when Nintendo said it a couple of years ago, the fireworks were blowing up. Everybody was saying, oh, Nintendo's so dumb. But because it's Sony, we're giving Sony a pass, basically. That's what they were saying. So admittedly, there's a huge difference, though. When Nintendo did it for the first time, let me explain this. When Nintendo did it for the first time, that was new. Like, no one had at that time pulled out of E3 like Nintendo did. So the shock value was higher at that time, and that's why Nintendo fans, just to give you an explanation, people took it harder on Nintendo doing what they did because they were the first ones, and always the first ones will get the most criticism. With Sony, people are giving more on the middle ground because Nintendo has proven that you don't have to have a full-blown, live conference at E3. Now, the only difference, though, to say from the two is Sony is taking it a little bit further in that they're not going to be there at all. Like, no booth, no nothing. At least Nintendo still has some presence at E3 with their booths and stuff like that. And Nintendo still have a small direct, which is way cheaper than what they used to do, instead of a conference. So Nintendo did not pull out completely. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo is still somewhat present at E3. Sony's pulling out completely. They're like, nope, we're done. This is over. Now the question then, you're going to have to say yourself is Nintendo, is Sony doing it because they don't have nothing to show, like the Xbox camp was saying, the Xbox fans were saying, oh, Sony doesn't have anything to show. Oh, yippee-doo, finally. Or, which is, I believe, is the biggest case, is this doesn't mean the end of Sony at E3. I think that Sony will have some presence in the future, smaller scale like Nintendo's doing, right? But they will have some presence in the future. So, why is Sony's doing what he's doing? It's basically they're saving all the announcements. They're accumulating everything that they can accumulate. And they're going to have smaller, possibly Nintendo Directs. They're going to copy Nintendo. Smaller presentations during the year for smaller games. But they're holding the big games, right? For that big PlayStation 5 announcement. That is set in stone. I'm telling you, Sony, I keep saying Nintendo. Sony just wants to do and save everything that they can to make.
I know you're kind of getting confused when they start doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're getting confused. But Sony's doing this because they want to make sure that PlayStation 5 press conference is fire, is destruction. They want to drop the bombs. And like I always stated, and you guys may not agree with this, Sony needs PlayStation way more than Nintendo and Xbox right now. Right now. Now, admittedly, Nintendo's just a video game company, so if Nintendo Switch goes down, Nintendo would have been in deep crap. But what I mean is, right now, Sony, basically PlayStation is carrying a bigger company. Nintendo is a smaller company. Numbers show that. But Sony, the PlayStation, is basically carrying Sony's ass right now as company as a whole when you're getting losses from the movie division and crap like that. Is PlayStation and insurance. Yes, I said it. Insurance is what carries the Sony brand. So Sony needs to make sure that this console is fire, the presentation is fire, everybody comes out and it's like, oh my God, we need to buy this console. And how you do that, Caleones, is saving announcements. Maybe they're saving the next Horizon Zero Dawn Part 2. They want it on that conference. Maybe they're saving the next Spider-Man 2. That announcement. I know Spider-Man just came out, but now that they have the infrastructure, can they pump out Spider-Man faster? God of War should be able to be made faster now that they have the engine running. So, and, of course, announcements like The Last of Us 2 being cross-gen, because I'm betting my bone that game is going to be cross-gen with the PlayStation 5. 4K 60 with the PlayStation 5, right? So, again, Sony wants to hold those cards, they want to make a big bam for your buck. I want to make sure that that press conference, when it comes out, Caleones, is fire. So that's my reasoning. Will they copy Nintendo? I think they will in some extent. But I think how they're going to structure is a big reveal. They're going to copy Nintendo too on this. So Nintendo, what did they did? But a little bit different. Nintendo did a small reveal on October, and then they did the big reveal on March, right? And then the system, February, and then the system came out in March. Sony is going to do, I would say, a press conference around October with the big reveal of the console, how it looks and everything at PSX, and then the system will come out in March. That's how Sony's going to do it, a little bit different than Nintendo. But anyway, with that said, I don't have much to say. I know I could talk about Sony forever with all my heart content. But I want to leave Caleones to say, Caleones, do you think that Sony will copy Nintendo? And what are your thoughts of Sony leaving E3?
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly if they're going to be copying the like the Nintendo Direct format. They might be doing something like that, but I believe
One
they're
second,
probably gonna do
Caleones.
it.
1 second.
Yes. Go ahead.
Is that guy 69? 69. Welcome to the stream. Go ahead, Caleones.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I understand completely. But what I was going to say is that I believe they might be copying a little bit more what Microsoft is doing than what Nintendo is doing, because Microsoft is more so kind of like a panel where you have people talking live and doing certain presentations and things like that. So if they do something, it's probably going to be like that. But about Sony and what they're doing about skipping E3. E3 is just not really that important anymore. It's not as important as it used to be. 5 years ago. It's not as important as when it used to be here in Atlanta, Georgia, and before it moved over to California. And companies are finding out in a way, thanks to Nintendo and taking the chance of not being there, being criticized for it, but doing the Nintendo Directs, where Nintendo Directs are now. That was crazy, basically, with how many people are resetting the clock. And we're gonna have one here. The next week they're gonna announce it, and just going over and over again. So people go crazy about the directs, and it is something that is definitely working for Nintendo. And Sony might not be copying the directs themselves, but they don't see E3 as important as it used to be for them. The other reason why they could be skipping it is because they may want to create a format where they can control completely. They're going to have an extremely big announcement in 2019. So they want to make sure that all the communication, that all, everything that's technical, everything works to perfection, because I believe that 2019 is when they're going to be announcing or showing or revealing, the PlayStation 5. And they want to make sure that everything goes perfect, that it packs a punch. They may be holding certain games for it. But actually, I'll be pretty surprised if they announce more than a handful of new games alongside with the system. I think that the games might be a little bit later. But are you with me in saying that you believe that the PS5 is going to be out 2020, and it may even be out early 2020? So even if they skip E3, they may do an announcement earlier in the year. To get people ready for the holiday season, dropping the price of the PS4, getting more people, to jump on it, and also getting other people to hold off on buying an Xbox or a Nintendo system, because then the PS5 is going to be right around the corner. So I really believe that this is why they're doing it, because they will be announcing the PS5, and they want to make sure that everything, the communication and everything, goes perfect. So because we've seen disasters at E3. When they're being trying to show certain games, when they showed the PS Move the first time, it didn't really go as planned. When they did the whole Wii Music on for Nintendo, that was probably the worst presentation ever at E3. So in that way, they can kind of like minimize any technical glitches or anything that may happen. So the message is clear, and the presentation can be above and beyond anything that people expect. So I want to say real quick, shout out to Linky, shout out to PSV Xbox C, Margie, Dantes the Gamer, and before that we had Jose Flores, Toys and More Club visiting as well. So But yeah, that's my take. And Dig, of course, that he just joined in, and I want to say he didn't really meant to say hi. He meant to say Ohio. So he's missing a no. But anything else that you want to add on this?
The only thing I'm gonna say, maybe, because Sony's not gonna make me not do two big conferences. Maybe what the reveal is gonna be more like a Nintendo Direct. Because in reality, what are you looking for? If you're saying that you're gonna come up with a small press conference to reveal the PlayStation 5, every news outlet and YouTuber are gonna cover that. They're gonna be live streaming. They're gonna be reacting live, right? And then so Sony can manage the message, to your point, of doing it in a controlled environment, showing the features of the system in a controlled environment, not live. And then at PSX, you would do the live show with a lot of people excitement. Kind of like what they did originally. They just show the PlayStation 4 controller. So they're going to not show the console yet. I remember Major Nelson making fun of Sony for not showing the system. But that was just Sony kind of building hype. Hey, here's the controller. So you knew you were looking forward to E3. So if they do, like what we're talking, a reveal in October, they just show the controller again. People are going to be hyped. How is the system going to look? And then they're going to be tuning at PSX. And then that's where all the press and people will fly around the world to play with the system for the first time. So I think they don't need, now they're saying we can save money and still get our message across. So they'll do a Nintendo Direct type of presentation for the reveal. I think it's not going to be like a short trailer like Nintendo did when they originally revealed the Switch. This is going to be a more like a half an hour presentation, an hour tops, where they're showing the system, some of the announced games and showing some of the features, and then talking about the tech inside the system to show how powerful it's going to be, because there's already rumors that the system is going to be $500. If you're going to make the system $500, it needs to be a beast of a console, to clarify. But anyway, even if that's true or not, which I think Sony will prefer to take the loss, trust me. I think at most the system will cost $450. That's my I would say, if it's a beast of a console, that would be my prediction. But it just makes 2 cents, save some money. Again, Sony's already in a great spot. Like I proved last night to Caleones on the live stream, Sony is the worldwide brand. So they don't need to be, kind of doing, I don't want to say extra effort, but they can do it in a way where their message gets across cheaper. And Nintendo honestly showed that. They are the pioneers in showing that you need to find a cheap way to to get your message across. But maybe when Nintendo did it originally, because Nintendo was in trouble, it was the Wii U era. They did it smartly, but they also were trailblazers in that sense, that you can use YouTube and means like that to get your message across. But we shall see. I gave crap to Nintendo when they first time they left the E3 conference. I'm gonna give crap to Sony too. I'm old school. I prefer the big, exciting, conference where you talk as gamers and it's exciting and we go back and forth and which conference did better and all that stuff. It's gonna be something that I'm gonna miss it a lot this E3. I'll look forward to the Nintendo Direct at E3. But after that, it'd be like, I don't care about Microsoft. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not an Xbox gamer at all. So that to me just takes a lot of the excitement away for E3 for me specifically. So we shall see if this pans out. But I believe Sony could come back to E3. They just said next year. But I'll say this. If they come back, they may take more of a Nintendo approach, I believe. More of a controlled, cheaper approach. In the future. But anyway, anything to add before we move on?
Well, I guess Jose Flores did mention something, and he said that that would depend on if they include the VR, with the systems. So I'm guessing, that price wise, if that's going to happen. The only reason why I would say that they may not include it is because of the backlash that the Xbox One received when they released the console and they had the Kinect included in it. Because they could have released the console without the Kinect, and it would have been priced probably $100 cheaper. But they kind of like forced everybody to buy the Kinect at first, and that kind of hurt the amount of people that jumped and bought the system, because the PS4 was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One, and that hurt the initial push of how many people were picking them up, since they came out I think it was like within a week of of each other. So that's the only reason why I don't believe
No,
VR will
the
be
VR is not
included.
gonna be included.
Yeah,
No, no.
what I believe that will be the case is that you know how with the VR you need kind of like a what they call like a supplemental box, like
Yep.
there's an additional
No.
box that you need
Yep.
to connect.
Yep.
I believe that is no longer going to be needed.
Yep. It's
That you
gonna be
can go
coming
ahead and
from the
connect.
PlayStation. Yep.
Yep. So you can connect the VR headsets directly into the PlayStation. You can bypass that, and that also is going to help with the quality of the video of how it's transmitted. So it's not necessarily going to go above 1080 because I think the VR is set at 1080, so you cannot go over those specs. Like for example, like the screen on the Switch. So it doesn't matter how much you improve the game, it's still going to be seen as 720p on the screen. But as far as the quality of the games and everything will be better, but you will not need the additional box.
No, I agree. Let me just end with this. My preference that I would like Sony to do to really revolutionize the video game industry, Caleones, right? On this next console, is to make the console modular. You understand what I'm saying? So if the console is modular and you sell, basically, let's just say you sell the motherboard separate, you install it yourself, but something quick and easy, where you can upgrade your system as you go through the generation if you want more power, then you should be able to do that. And I'm taking this approach because I have a PC and I understand what that means, right? I understand what is upgrading a system. But if you make it quick and easy, so you can still have the base console for people who don't want to deal with the technical aspect of it, they just want to play games. But for the hardcore gamer, you can have a modular console where you can change up the specs of the system and make it more stronger just for better performance. Because sometimes we just want better performance. I'm more of a person that want better performance, 60 frames per second. So let's just say we do that, right, Caleones? If they can do that, it will be revolutionary. And Nintendo then can take maybe a step further on the Switch 2 if they make, because I know there's some patents out there and probably they haven't figured out yet, if they can make the Switch dock kind of be a supplement, so then you get more power on your system. So both consoles, to me, that is the next step. Can they do that? Because Microsoft, I believe, is taking the other approach. They're going to try to sell a cheap box. They're going to sell the both boxes, to clarify. They want the powerful box is going to be out there on the next Xbox, which are the rumors. But they're going to sell a second box, which is going to be a streaming box. And they're saying that their servers are going to be so strong that they'll be able to stream high-quality games into this stream box that is going to be the next Xbox. And that's where Microsoft wants the industry to go. And you know why I'm saying that? Because you can see why there's rumors that a new Xbox One is coming out without this tray at all. It's because Microsoft is testing the waters. They're setting up and see if there's a stream for that. And let's just say if they can sell that stream box for cheap, for $200, right? The casual gamer is going to go with Microsoft. Microsoft can't get the casual gamers. They determine who wins the generation. You know, what could hurt Microsoft is they're not a global brand at all in gaming. They are not. They could win. They could probably win US. They could probably win Europe. But they are not a global brand at all. So still, even then, I don't think they would win the generation. But they will take a lot of the, I would say, a big bite of the market if they do it. But how Sony can combat that is, hammer down on the hardcore gamer. Give us a modular console where the hardcore gamer can play with it and make it more stronger as the generation goes through, the next phase or the ending phase. Because there's a lot of rumors that this could be the last generation. But we shall see. Jungle57 is asking, is Nintendo a global brand? Nintendo is a global brand. I am not denying that. Nintendo is a global brand. But like I proved to Caleones last night on the stream, Sony is a bigger global brand than Nintendo because they sell in places like Russia, to give you an example. And we'll talk about Russia later in the show. But that's it. Nintendo is doing great in Japan. They will own Japan. I'm telling you right now. That's not denying that. US is a good battle, but Sony has kept the lead on the US right now, and Europe is no contest, right? We know that Europe, but the problem is Sony sells at the Russia, 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 at South Arabia, at Korea, at all those markets that some people just don't care. The only market that I believe that I know of that is not owned by Sony is Brazil and Mexico. They're Xbox territories, those two. But aside from that, everything else, every market like that, is Sony sells more than Nintendo. So.
Well, I'll say like Nintendo does pretty well over at France as well. So they usually do
but
pretty good there.
Again, but there's a lot of markets. I'm saying worldwide, Sony has been proving. It's just a reason. You have to remember, there's a reason why the PlayStation 3 era, why Sony caught up with Microsoft. And it was because of the global brand of Sony. There was no way in hell with a 10 million console lead, Caleones, at one point, that Sony should have caught Microsoft. But you know why they caught up with Microsoft? Because of the global brand that they had around the PlayStation. Of course, making PlayStation cheaper. I'm not going to deny that. And making moves to improve exclusives and stuff like that. But global brand is the reason why it got caught up. US, Microsoft destroyed Sony. Destroyed it. But the global brand is what made them caught up. But again, I'm not saying Nintendo is not a global brand. I'll say this, Nintendo is a way global brand than Microsoft. It's funny why Microsoft gets all the third-party support. Anyway, let's go to the next news. I think we ran that one into the ground. Caleones, let's go to the next one because I think this is the one that we're not going to see eye to eye at all. But let's go for it.
Okay, so the next piece of news that we have over here, or the next main topic, basically is something that has really torn, what people think about Nintendo. Some people are for what they did, others are against what they're doing. But basically, it boils down to a lawsuit that was awarded to Nintendo, which they took Love Retro and and Love ROMs.
They took them down.
And they took them down. Like they
destroyed them.
And this is a couple, which they control the websites. They have Nintendo ROMs on the website, and they have to pay Nintendo $12 million for those, for the websites that they had. At the same time, they are forced to sign ownership of the two websites to Nintendo as well. So it was, or the ROMs that they had on there. So that was, some people are calling it overkill. Others are saying, good for Nintendo for, taking the other pirates down. I know that I see it one way, Dantes sees it the other way. And
give your point. Give your point of view. Why did Nintendo did the right thing of taking this couple over $12 million? And why did they do the right thing to shut down these two websites and many websites? This is not the only two ROM websites that Nintendo has been shutting down. So I'm going to take it holistically in this discussion. So go ahead, Caleones.
Okay. Quick answer to one of the questions. I love Piranha Plant. It gives you completely different movesets and everything else, compared to the other characters. Same thing as Incineroar, which it gives you like the other wrestling background, things like that. So those are two completely characters that go that are different from anything else on the roster, which is what I like. I just like to have more variety with the characters and the fighters. But going back to this one, I am 100% okay with it. You have so many disclaimers, so many things, so many warnings over and over telling you that stealing is bad, that taking stuff that doesn't really belong to you, it should not be done. And they've been telling you this. I mean, you've been warned since before, like before Christ came over. So like the Old Testament, like Moses, they've been telling you stealing is bad. And this is exactly what they're doing. Like ROMs don't, they don't belong. It doesn't belong to them. They didn't create them. They didn't buy them. They just took them. And not only were they taking the ROMs and storing them, but they're also like giving the ROMs to other people. And not only are they giving the ROMs and allowing other people to download the ROMs, but they're also profiting from it because they're putting ads on the website where people have to go, to click through them, go to the different pages. Those click ads add up, and they're actually making money off something that doesn't belong to them. So that's my take. I know that, like I may feel a little bit differently. I know that, to some extent, yes, $12 million is big. It's a big amount. They're not going to play 12. They're not going to pay $12 million. $12 million
We don't know
is
that,
not
Caleones.
what they're.
Don't, let's not speculate. Right now, the lawsuit is $12 million.
Well, I mean that's what it is.
That's what
But
it is. I don't want to say. I
okay,
hate with people in Twitter. Oh, but they're not gonna pay that. They're gonna settle out of court. We don't know that. You guys are anticipating or making stuff up until it's a fact. You can talk about it. Right now, the fact is that they won a $12 million lawsuit against this couple.
okay. So what I'll say is this: what I believe is gonna happen is that they're not gonna pay that amount because it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. And like the Joker said.
You're
So
bad. That was a bad joke.
it
You
was,
should
it
have
was
put
bad. It was
the.
bad.
You should
Yeah.
say, go to Twitter, go to Force In Unison at Force In Unison and look the tweet that he put, and that's why he put the Joker GIF with him saying that. But don't act it out, please. Don't act it out. Anyway, are you done? So I can
I
get.
tried.
Can I get in this now?
But my point is, it is about sending a message. It's about kind of like a warning to other pirate websites not to do it, to backtrack. People are still going to do it, but is so basically in a way you've been warned. But go ahead, Dantes.
Okay, let me start. See this shirt I'm wearing right now? What it says there, Caleones?
Metallica.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to 1998 on a playground boring balls on my days, shooting, relaxing. Anyway, sorry.
That was even worse than my impression. Come on.
Anyway, so what I was saying, in 1998, there was a little thing called Napster. A lot of you youngsters don't remember what that is. And that was the first, the start of basically digital distribution of music. Now, admittedly, Napster was basically, let's just call it a repository of files that people would put in. So you could get the files for music, like Metallica's music, bands, Eminem, people like that, And this band called Metallica, which is my favorite band of all time, Caleones. You would say that I'm a big fan of Metallica.
Yeah. You came over here, you visited me, you stayed over here just so we could go to the concert
watch Metallica
together.
exactly.
So yeah,
I'm a big fan. So Metallica sued Napster because they felt that they were stealing their copyright music, and they were giving that copyright music for free, right? Okay. Now, what I said back there was, you know what? I understand what Metallica is doing. They have every right to do what they're doing. They have every right to do what they're doing, but I do not support them because it will hurt them in the long run. They're only seeing the small picture. They're not seeing this. The world is changing, right? And they're not seeing that they were going to get run over by the train, and they got run over because once you open the floodgates, there's no way that you can shut it down, Caleones. Nintendo doing this, sending a message, shutting down one, doesn't mean that they will stop the internet. Doesn't mean that they will stop torrent sites. Doesn't mean that the people won't get the ROMs if you look hard enough. It is impossible to stop the train. But you know what Nintendo could do and what Metallica had to do and understand is embrace the digital age. Embrace it so then you can make sure that your catalog of music is available for people digitally so they can buy them the right way, right? Now, I ask you, Caleones, before we go into, because this is a multi-layer discussion. This is an awesome discussion. We're going to have a good time. Has Nintendo given us their catalog of games properly as of this time? Is the Nintendo games available as of this time?
Can I answer as a Nintendo fan?
No. Well, okay, do both. Fine, go ahead. Answer as a Nintendo fan.
I mean, you can still get the original systems and you can still buy the games. They may not be priced as originally when they came out. You may have a little bit of a hard time, trying to locate some of them, but they're out there, to be found. But okay, I'll answer truthfully. it's some. I mean, there's some games that you probably will never find. Others, I mean, at retail, and we're talking about where you can go out, buy and purchase it and take it. But the problem is this: the problem is that most of the people that are doing well, I'm not gonna say most, but there's people that are gonna be downloading ROMs and they're not getting a ROM because they cannot find it somewhere. They're just getting it because they want to. So even if they can get it,
But
they still want to get it.
okay, but that's fine,
Mm.
Caleones. But it's
Yeah.
the same with music. It's the same with music today. You can get any music for free. The industry had to move and adjust to the change and understand that they have to provide their music in different ways. You got streaming services. You got ways that you can pay monthly and get any music that you want. You still sell your music in iTunes and stuff like that. Metallica has their full catalog in iTunes and streaming services, so you can do their music that way. The main problem, Caleones, right now is that Nintendo has done an awful job of digital distribution since the Wii, Caleones. Because why in the blue hell they did not have unique IDs? So when you bought your games, you would own that digital game all the time. So, but no, you have to buy it on the Wii, you have to buy it on the Wii U, and now they're not even available to buy on the Switch. You have to use that shitty ass streaming service, NES service, to get the games. But the problem is, Caleones, is that streaming service doesn't have all the games that you really want to play, just NES games.
So you're asking me to answer that from a company that still doesn't provide voice chat with their online right now? Because it's not. It may not be that they don't want to. It's that they're not ready for it yet.
But that's what I'm telling you, Caleones. Look at it from the customer perspective. You're going and attacking these ROM sites where most of the games, you're on your right. Like same thing I said with Metallica. And I said, Metallica, you're wrong. You're going to get swallowed up with this. Same boat right now, Nintendo, you're wrong. You want to fight this? In reality, is get your shit together and provides this service, a high quality service, so people can get all those games of yours, right? The reason people go with ROMs is that a lot of these games are not available. And then you're hurting, I know people hate it, game preservation, Caleones, because then it's not, you're shutting down these sites, Caleones, right? Okay, fine. Why don't you just go to those sites and say, I want you guys to remove Nintendo IPs? But let those sites function as other games who have been shut down, the IPs being lost. There's no one who owns those IPs. Let them be still available for the people to download. Again, Nintendo, you want to fight this, you have to fight it with creating a proper service, not by going after these sites. You're not going to get anywhere. You think, and I know Nintendo's old school thinking, and that's where they are on their services. That's why their services suck. Because they can't think ahead. Nintendo's thinking old school. Oh, no, we need to shut them down because we're giving them our great Nintendo NES Entertainment service so they can buy our online service. That's what Nintendo is thinking. The problem is that your service sucks. There's not enough games. Every games that you bring up right now, people are just killing you online because they suck. You haven't given a great catalog of NES. You guys have the best IPs in the world, but it seems like consistently you work on the shitty ones. And it's just frustrating. Where's the Super NES? How come this is getting too long? If you really want to compete, where is the streaming service for NES, Super NES, and 64? Why in the hell Microsoft has been able with Game Pass, even Sony to an extent with their shitty PlayStation Now, has been able to put a lot of games faster than Nintendo done for freaking emulators who are like 50 kilobytes of file size, Caleones. Why in the hell it takes so long for one company to do this shit? I just don't get it. That's what they need to be focused on. And then aside from that, let's go back aside from that. You're suing a couple, 12 million. Yes, they got money. I am not denying that. Fine. They may settle out of court. Great. Hopefully that's what happens. But you're destroying their lives, basically, right? For something, right? That again, big picture, the internet is big. Everybody's doing it. Yeah, it's
Well,
sending a message, Caleones.
I'm just gonna say what my grandmother would have told me if I found myself in a situation like that. Maybe they should just go out there and get a real job.
Well, they will now. They're probably gonna have to work as janitors for Nintendo to pay that money off. But anyway, going back, does Nintendo has the right to do this? Yes, I agree, Caleones. I am not denying that. Same thing I said for Metallica in 1998, 1999. I have not changed my stand. I really don't want to hear. This is what I didn't want to hear for Nintendo fans. Oh, Nintendo is the best for their customer. They listen. Right now, the long list of shit that Nintendo has not done for you guys is staggering. Staggering. I really don't want to hear, oh my God, Sony is the evil corporation, or Microsoft is the evil corporation. Right now, brownie points, Caleones, Nintendo is in third place. Like really bad, like really low on the total point of what you need to do to get the good graces of your fans. You know what's saving them right now? Is your fucking IPs. That's the only thing that's saving them. That they have brought good games on the Switch generation. But it hurt them on the Wii U generation, Caleones. It really hurt them. Just not listening, not giving stupid-ass features that should have been included in that system. So right now, this just does not help Nintendo at all when you look at it on a bigger picture. When the perspective of gamers saying, F you, Nintendo, building, increasing. You know who the people who listen to this, the hardcore gamer, the one that creates the base for your system, Caleones? Nintendo's not growing that right now at all. And they're in the long run for the Switch 2 or the Ultra Switch, it could hurt them in the long run. That's what I'm saying. Think long picture. Fight it. Metallica had to give up and said, look, okay, we don't regret doing what we did. That was what Lars said, but the industry was moving, and we had to get aboard with how the industry was moving. Why in the hell Nintendo's not doing that? Why in the hell Sony and Microsoft's not doing that? You know what Microsoft and Sony are doing? They're creating their own way, Game Pass and PlayStation Now, to deliver the games, make it attractive to fight that, Caleones. And that is enough for them to make money. But no, Nintendo's just going, fuck you, we're going to get you on your site, and you're going to make sure that you don't do this ever again. Woo! Consumer friendly at its finest. Anyway, Caleones, I'm done with my rant. Go ahead if you want to add anything.
Well, I mean, what I'm gonna add is this. Okay, so you don't really agree when Metallica did it, right? When they went ahead and sued Napsters, when they took them to court,
nope.
and but what happened out of that is that the industry changed forever. Not only the music industry, it affected the movie industry.
But it wasn't the suing that changed the industry. I'm sorry, Caleones, I don't agree with that. But anyway.
So I got a question. Before that happened, could you really download digital albums online, like purchase digital albums? Could you buy single songs, like songs by themselves? Could you do stuff like that? That stuff wasn't there yet, but because of what happened, that's how they changed the whole. I mean, how the whole market worked, how artists profited from songs versus the companies that own them, how they could sell complete albums versus like singles. Because I mean, before you could go to the store, you can buy the full CD, or you can buy a CD that had maybe one or two songs or things like that, but it wasn't there on the digital age. Like, you were not getting paid for those digital songs, and if you were, it was just I mean, it wasn't a big, you had no footprint when it came to that market. So that's what happened. The positive out of it is that, I mean, well, positive for the people that want to do it legally, and not for the people that want to get it for free. But it actually changed the music industry. It changed the movie industry. Now, yes, people are still gonna pirate songs. They're still gonna pirate movies, but they are able to still make money off of the digital side of things. And this is what I hope.
You're just adding to my point right now, but keep going, Kyle. Thank you for adding to my point.
I mean, but this is what I hope is going to happen for Nintendo. That going through this process is going to change them completely on how they approach things. Like I said, I don't really sweat this portion because to me, and this is what I believe. I may be wrong. They may be forced to pay the 12 million dollars and everything, but I don't think they're like you said. They're gonna, to me, they're gonna settle out of court. It's gonna be a much lower amount. They're gonna have to relinquish their ROMs that they have. They already took out the Nintendo ROMs from their websites, and the last time I checked, the website was still up. So they're still operating to some extent. They just don't have access to the Nintendo ROMs. But yes, the Nintendo, it did it about, it was about sending a message, but also hopefully Nintendo's going to find a way to change itself. Like something like this, they're going to receive enough feedback, both positive and negative, to the point where they can, in a way, get with the times. Like, Jose Flores was saying on here, Game Pass is something that, Microsoft is doing great. You mentioned it as well, with the Game Pass, PS Now. And if you put the two libraries together, Nintendo has by far the best library, at least first party library out of any other game company out there. So they are leaving so much money on the table, and hopefully with things like now us having the Nintendo Network ID and everything, all the purchases tied to that login to that same ID, that's going to help us keep ownership of the games regardless of whatever systems we get eventually. Everything's going to be tied to it. We're going to continue to own those purchases, and hopefully we can go ahead and carry them over. And at the same time, hopefully we're going to see more than just the NES games that are out. That we're going to see the Super NES, the Nintendo 64, GameCube, etc. So that's why I see this a little bit different, because I believe this is going to be eventually a positive change, not only for Nintendo but for the consumers as well, so they can buy something, keep their ownership, and keep carrying it over with them. So I mean, it's one of those where it's, to be continued, because we don't know exactly what's gonna be the fallout out of all of this. We can see the reactions of the people now, but we don't know what's gonna happen from this. It can be, I mean, it could be worse, and Nintendo could really hurt out of this. But I believe I like to see things a little bit more positive, and I believe we're going to see more positive coming out of this eventually.
So the only thing I'm gonna add is you mentioned that how it changed the music industry. The music industry changed not because Metallica suing. It changed because it had to, because they were losing money, right? Overall, the whole industry, right? Microsoft and Sony has found a way to make money out of their old catalog without shutting down anything, Caleones, because they know that you cannot compete with that. Nintendo maybe would have looked better if they were doing this, if their services were up to par before they did this, right? So for the hardcore gamer, if their services were up to par, then maybe it would be a different scenario. But they're not. Their catalog is not available anywhere. It is really hard from the Wii to the Wii U, and now the Switch, to own the digital that you own. Now it's better with the ID, yes, but they haven't offered a virtual console because they're thinking streaming is the way to go, or this emulator that they're using for the NES is the way to go. But then the catalog is not available even on that service, right? So to me, I saw it once already. I saw, even I know, I said Metallica was wrong, and I'm a fan of Metallica. I'm still a fan of Metallica, right? But I can't deny that it hurt them. I can't deny that they lost fans. I can't deny that even though they're still possibly the biggest metal band in the world, they lost it. They lost fans. They're not the same. My concern is that Nintendo is going to happen the same thing. My concern is game preservation. And I'm still going to buy Nintendo products like I still buy Metallica products, because I can separate the business that I know they have every right to do it. I am not denying that. The same thing I said with Metallica. It's good that you're here, because you can attest that I said the same thing in 1999 when Metallica did it. I swear to you guys, I understood what they were doing, but they were wrong on it. And I'm saying the same thing for Nintendo in this case. Hopefully, it won't hurt that much. Hopefully, game preservation will find a different way so we can get those old games. But we shall see. I guess we'll wait for the future. I lost my train of thoughts on that one. But anyway, I'm still going to buy Nintendo products. It's all good. I just want Nintendo to understand what they're doing. It is not the right way to do things as of this time, and more when your service is crap. Anyway, Caleones, unless you have anything to add, let's go to a little bit more of a positive news.
Okay, so going over with the next one, and this is talking about the some of the games that released this week and how they have been performing. I know that it is a brand that it's big. It's been big for over 20 years, and something that people were kind of like not really on board with this iteration. Of course, we're talking about Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and it was because to them this was kind of like a departure of what the Pokemon games are like. Is especially how the previous one were on the handhelds. This one feels like to some like a more casual. It has like a more casual approach, and it's more so for Pokemon Go players and also. But there's actually news, and this is coming from the MPD, and basically Matt Piscatella from the MPD saying that there's lots of positivity and optimism around Pokemon Let's Go, including leading in Twitch viewership. Initial read of ancillary metrics a bit better than I anticipated. All good signs. Again, they said that from a total gaming market outlook perspective, Pokemon Let's Go is the most important launch of the year. Initial response being as positive as it is, well, it's a bit of a relief, to be honest. We'll have to see how sales go through December and into the new year. So, so far, when it comes to the sales of Pokemon Let's Go, it's actually been more positive than anybody else really thought at the beginning. So, we're not exactly sure if it's the same Pokemon crowd that continues to get the game, or if it's Nintendo being able to get the Pokemon Go crowd on board with Pokemon Let's Go. But either way, even though we're not going to see the MPD numbers until probably this time next month, but so far everything is pointing that the game is selling great. I can say at least here that they did release numbers for the UK, and out of the 9 games that have been tracked for Pokemon, Pokemon Let's Go is actually at number 5. It sold 116,000 copies in the UK, which is based on their numbers, it's actually pretty good. The previous one, which was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it sold 78,000 when it first came out. So this is actually an improvement of almost 40,000 copies, compared to the previous one. So this is just the UK. We still need the Japan numbers. We still need the US numbers and from other territories as well. But everything is pointing out that people are actually liking the game and they're going out and buying the game.
So the only thing I want to say, so we can go to a trailer, and then we can talk about both impressions about the game. I think you have played the game. I have not played the game, but you have played the game, so you can give early impressions. I'll say this. Just reading on Twitter and people, seems that a lot of people are liking the game. I think the game coming out helped shut down a little bit of some haters. There's still some Pokemon purists that are like, oh my God, this is crap, X, Y, and Z. But you know what? Again, the game never impacted your hardcore Pokemon game. If there's one company, and this one, I'm going to defend Nintendo. If there's one company that you can trust how they handle their IPs, is Nintendo. And they will try some stuff, something new, but at the same time, they know that they don't affect their hardcore fan base. And what I mean with that, with Diablo, I understood why people were pissed at Diablo, because they knew the mobile game from a company, Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, is going to be monetized up the ass, and they're concerned that those things are going to come into their main Diablo game when it comes out. But Nintendo won't do that. This Pokemon game, if it's not for you, wait until the next Pokemon game. And this Pokemon game is just a return to something that people like. People love the original Pokemon. A lot of casual players are saying, hey, this is my first Pokemon game. I like it. I like how I was playing. That's great, because then you have to think about it. Again, long picture. Now I'm defending Nintendo. I can switch easily. Long picture. Caleones, what's going to happen with those new fans that are being made from the Pokemon Let's Go series?
Well, hopefully what's going to happen with those is that they're going to be on board when the Generation 8 Pokemon game comes out in 2019. So that's what they're hoping for.
Building your fan base. Simple as that. You can't. People change. Let me put it that way. People change. People grow. People move. Their tastes change. You can't depend on the same crowd to be carrying your franchises. You have to evolve so you can create new fans. God of War proved that early this year. Completely changed the game. And what happened, Caleones? Huge hit for Sony, right? Brought new fans now to the equation when they were losing fans after God of War Ascension. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Huge change from Zelda Breath of the Wild. They lost fans on Skyward Sword, Caleones, right? But so Pokemon Let's Go, to me, not for me. I may play it. I admit it's not for me.
Oh, you bought it.
I don't know. I bought it. I bought it, and I may play it. But I understand that it's not for me. But I understand the meaning of the game. So I think it's good game. It's fine. It's getting good scores too. I think what Metacritic, 83, 84, something like that on Metacritic right now, Caleones. So
it's low 80s right now, I believe it is.
83, 82, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know. That's
Well,
still
it's actually that's pretty much average for the franchise. They've actually never had a Pokemon game score 90. I believe the highest one is 87. But
that's
they've
fine.
been.
But that's still a good Metacritic. I hate when people say, oh, 80, 81, 82. To me, 80 and up is a great Metacritic score. Yeah, if you hit 90, it's great. You can have fanboy bragging rights that your favorite system has a game 90s. Good for you. But to me, if you're gonna play a game, anything higher than 80 is a good Metacritic score. So to me, Pokemon Let's Go is doing fine. I think it's bringing out new audience to the equation. And I think, again, also hitting nostalgia for the old fans, some of the old fans who were willing to accept the change. Because, again, you guys can't deny it. You can be the most hardcore Pokemon fan of all time. But the original 150 or 52, whatever it is, are the most famous Pokemon out there. Every other generation does not even come close, Caleones, to the original Pokemon. And that is the truth. Anyway, with that, if you don't want to add anything, we can talk about Detective Pikachu, and then we go into impressions.
Well, it's I'll say that the Pokemon brand is really strong. They actually released the Detective Pikachu trailer. I think it was probably like 4 or 5 days before the release of Pokemon Let's Go, and it seemed like it actually did work and it did its job. And it's probably something that Universal and Nintendo agreed upon on to release the trailer to build demand a couple of days before the game's release. So, have you seen the trailer already?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my impression from the trailer is it's actually better than I thought it would be. It looks fun. The Pokemon, for the most part, their designs look are pretty good, and Ryan Reynolds as the Detective Pikachu, I think it seems like he's gonna pull it off. The story itself and the movie itself doesn't really take itself too seriously, so I'm happy for that because we have some game movies taking themselves too serious, and it actually ends up hurting not only the story but the experience that people get from the movie. So far I'm happy with what I've seen. I know that we had the reaction trailer or reaction from the Toys and More Club kids, Inkling J and Inkling B from it. They actually did enjoy it as well. They're really looking forward to it. And the movie doesn't really come out until May of next year, but the trailer did its job and not only helped itself, which I believe the trailer has close to 50 million views on YouTube already. But like it built momentum and demand for the Pokemon brand, and that's paying off for Pokemon Let's Go as well. So what were your impressions from the trailer, Dantes?
I thought did I tell you my impressions? I told you my impressions, right? Or you don't remember?
No, you haven't. No.
Okay, so what do you think were my impressions?
I would say they were probably close to mine, where you weren't really expecting something pretty good. It's not to say that what they showed was outstanding, but it was better than you anticipated.
Okay. Let me see. I'll go with this. Okay. You texted me and you told me, hey, Detective Pikachu trailer just came out. I look at the text and I go, I don't care about this. This movie's gonna suck. Who cares? No fucks given at all. No, not a single fuck. No, nothing.
Hey, we're talking about a kids movie, okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. But for me, I like kids movie too.
No, I'm talking about the language though.
Oh, but I didn't give him at all. Give a single F, a single one. You know what other movie I didn't give a single F that they announced? Shazam. Fine, go and watch Shazam's trailer. Trailer was awesome. That trailer said, I want to watch that movie. The first week that came out, got me into the world, got me invested. What that trailer needed to do. Shazam is like a D-level type of superhero, I would say right now. But you know, Shazam could be the Iron Man of DC. What Iron Man was considered a D-level hero became an A-level hero after the Iron Man movie, after Marvel built their cinematic universe, right? That's how much I like the trailer of Shazam. Now let's go to the Pikachu trailer. Didn't care at all. Watched it. I thought it was freaking awesome. I liked it way more than I expected. I liked the tone of the movie, the designs of the Pokémon. Ryan Reynolds, I think, is going to kill it. It gave me vibes, and I know it's coming from the same person, but it gave me vibes from the first time we saw that release footage of Deadpool, that I said, there's something special here if they do it right. I'm saying right now, and this is coming from a Nintendo hater, this was one of the best trailers to get people into this, that they thought, this is a stupid idea. Who the hell is making a Pikachu movie or a Detective Pikachu movie? I thought when they announced it originally, it was a stupid idea. I thought, that's why I'm not making any decisions. Trust me, I'm not making money. Because once I saw the trailer, I was in, dude. I was in the same boat as Shazam. I want to see this movie as soon as it comes out. So, props for Nintendo. Props from Universal. It's looking good. Like you said, it's not taking itself seriously. Like the tone. Ryan Reynolds, I think, is going to do a great job as Detective Pikachu. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's the best review I can give you, Caleones, on the trailer. So
yeah, okay. So the question becomes then, do you think by not being a movie based on the original games and basing it on a spin-off, do you think something like that actually helps build a better movie? Because the expectations would be extremely high if you're talking about Ash, if you're talking about the Pikachu, how the journey started, and how everybody has been seeing that for the last 20 plus years and envisioning how a movie like that is going to look. Plus, they've already had movies, in the anime movies as well. So by limiting the movie to Detective Pikachu, to that side story, do you think that actually helps the movie overall?
maybe. I'm not sure if I can answer that because I probably would have the same low expectations if it was even the original Pokemon journey, like you said, Ash and stuff like that. But I don't know. It could help. Maybe the expectation could have been higher. My expectation would have been low on any Pokemon movie, and more of a live-action Pokemon movie, Caleones, right? If it was a cartoon Pokemon movie, okay, you know what you're going to get. But since it was a live-action, yeah, my expectations were not high. And again, when you heard, oh, Ryan Reynolds is going to be doing the voice of Pikachu, you're like, what the hell? Why? Doesn't make sense. Anything doesn't make sense. But you know what? If I'm learning something, right, if you know the material well, let me put it that way, and it's not a cash grab, and you're really passionate about the material, like Ryan Reynolds has proven about Deadpool, where Deadpool no one expected to become the big success that it is, right?
Yeah, and it would not have happened without Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly.
That movie would have never happened.
It never happened. When you care about the source material, Shazam looks that way, that there are people who care about the source material. Let me put it this way. They care about the source material, but they understand the source material, because we know you can't get and put the same comic book stories in the movie because it's not going to make sense for the casual crowd. You have to somehow find a way, and that's what Kevin Feige has done an awesome job in Marvel. You have to find a way to make it so people understand and make it relatable to the casual, but keep the hardcore crowd invested. If you find that balance, and I think Detective Pikachu has found that balance just with the trailer, Caleones. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when I go see the movie, suck. But because based on the trailer, I think we're gonna get a really good damn movie. I honestly think so, Caleones. And that's what matters. I think is caring about the source material.
Yeah, and I believe the same. So I'll say, so far so good. What we saw is better than that we expected, and actually, to me, it looks good. Like it looks like it's gonna be something that does have potential. I know that time and again we've been burned with video game movies. The video games being translated to the big screen and how that turns out. So hopefully this is gonna be able to like kind of like side skip it. It's not gonna be an Oscar worthy movie, but still, hopefully it's gonna be a fun, a good a popcorn type movie where people are gonna go there, they're gonna have fun, and hopefully they're gonna want to see it again. So that's what I believe is gonna happen, and maybe it's the beginning of a bigger world when it comes to Pokemon. And I know this is with Universal, so it is their relationship with well, it's kind of like a mixture of Legendary, like Warner Brothers and Universal, I believe, is publishing. But hopefully, this is going to continue to carry over with the Super Mario movie and with anything else that could happen. Not with the Legend of Zelda TV show because that's not happening, but still with other things as well.
Okay, but with that segue, it says we're giving impressions, even though we're already 1 hour and 6 minutes in, we still haven't left hot topics today. Can you give us an impressions of Pokemon Let's Go? What were your thoughts, and are you liking the game so far?
Okay, so the biggest impression that I can get is actually from my daughter, from Inkling G. At first, she wasn't really interested in the game until she actually saw the launch trailer, which basically captured side by side the intro of the Pokemon anime and captured it with the game engine and the game itself, basically going scene by scene. And that sold her on the games. We went ahead and got it. She started playing it. She's actually played it for like things like 3 straight days. And even though she is most of the time on Fortnite, she's actually gotten out of Fortnite to go into Pokemon Let's Go and play it. So that's, I mean, a testament to itself. So for somebody that doesn't normally play Pokemon games, she actually does like it. I took it over to my my parents' house. My nieces were over there, and my son was playing 2-player with one Joy-Con edge, the two characters on the screen, trying to coordinate on throwing the Pokeballs to capture the Pokemon, and they were having a lot of fun as well. So I'll say that, I mean, aside from the obvious, because yes, yeah, it is an improvement on the graphics and how the game looks. I'll say the only downside to it is that you still see a little bit of slowdown in certain areas, especially when where there's areas that are like populated a lot with Pokemons, and I believe the Force is one of those that's having issues, but it's because the game itself is still using the engine from the 3DS games. So it is an optimized engine from the 3DS. So it's not the full engine. And I believe it was a Game Freak that they said that it won't be until Generation 8, like when you go to the Generation 8 game coming out next year, that you're going to see a vast improvement graphic wise going from this game over to the next one. Because, and this is not confirmation. This is not something that anybody has said. This is what I believe, that they're working on a new engine for the new Pokemon, and I believe somebody like, I can really see somebody like Monolith Soft helping them out on getting that game into, get it in better looking HD graphics and things like that, and more optimized for the Nintendo Switch system itself. But as far as the game, it is a little bit similar to Pokemon Go, but that's kind of like underselling it. Like you still have what you can really say is the full original game. The blue and red and the yellow with Pikachu. You have that start, and I believe this is the beginning of something that's going to be a lot bigger. I know that the Game Freak didn't really commit to making any other Let's Go games after this ones unless the game sold pretty well. And from all indications, it seems like the game is selling great, and that they're probably going to continue with the Let's Go series. Which, if they do, I expect them to start going over, to Generation 2, 3, 4, 5, and remaking it on Let's Go, while at the same time they're continuing with Gen 8, Gen 9, and with those. But I mean, games so far, it's everything that I expected. I haven't gone too deep into the game where I've collected, most of the Pokemons, or seeing what happens after you finish a game, all the the content found afterwards. But so far I've enjoyed it, and people that I talked to that they played the game, they have been enjoying it as well. It is something that seems like is going to be critical and commercial success as well, and that's the it's, I think, the best scenario that Nintendo could have hoped for going into the holiday season.
Okie dokie. Thanks for those impressions, Caleones. I don't have anything else much to say. I'll probably play the game at some point, casually. I'm not going to probably be hardcore. I'll say that, and then I may get involved trying to cash everything. But you never know. I think that's the addiction, is trying to cash everything. Caleones, with that, let's go to the last hot topic because it's an hour and 10. And there was a little bit of a announcement with the Game Awards, and they basically stated the nominees. So, Caleones, can you run down those nominees?
Yes. Basically, they forgot one of the most important games. They simply forgot. But as far as the nominees go,
he got it.
And this
he
is
on Twitter. He admitted it, that he saw a lot of people complaining about Xenoblade. I was surprised. Let's start with that. So Xenoblade was.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you talk on that one because,
No. Xenoblade got snubbed. Xenoblade got snubbed. It came out December. I think they completely forgot about it. Other RPGs like Ni no Kuni got how you put it, got nominated for Best Music, when everybody will tell you, who's RPG fan, that Xenoblade music is like godlike type of music, right? And I'm telling you, I play a lot of RPGs historically, and I keep saying that Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 has the best music of all time that I've listened to. But still, it's an opinion, right? But a lot of people share that opinion. But Xenoblade didn't get anything, even get RPG, even get, Best RPG of the Year. They didn't get Best Music, anything to that extent, which is fine. A lot of people, and I think just shows you how strong the Xenoblade community is, went and complained and said, look, what the hell you guys doing? You guys, snub basically Xenoblade. Xenoblade doesn't get the same respect as other RPGs. And that's fine. You know what? I don't mind it. What I care about, to me right now, Caleones, is how Xenoblade grew thanks to the Switch this generation and became a bigger franchise. That is what matters to me. You got something going on, and hopefully it will keep building up. Game Awards, it's just a bunch of nominations for people to fight over whose favorite console got more wins or more losses. So that's why I don't care. I really don't. I wasn't mad at all. I didn't even said a statement on Twitter or retweeted people complaining. I just saw it, and I was like, cool. I'm happy to see some fans, getting out there if they care about this stuff. I never care about the Game Awards to be like, oh my God, I care more about me and Caleones going back and forth and trying to predict who's going to win them. I think that's going to be more fun. And of course, everybody's going to tune into the Game Awards to see if they get any secret announcements that he's already alluding to for this Game Awards. But that's it. So I'm not mad that Xenoblade got snubbed. So anyway, Caleones, if you want to add anything, if not, you can go ahead with the nominees.
Well, I mean, it's I'm not talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as Game of the Year. I mean, because
we know
I believe the nominees on there, they're probably the ones that they should be there. I'm actually happy about Celeste being there, of course. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War. So those they're fine. But yes, when you're talking about best RPG or best music, I believe those two should have been the ones where the game should have been included as well. But it wasn't. It seems like from some of the tweets that were going on, especially some replies that Jeff made, it kind of, in a way, made it seem like
they forgot about it.
They really forgot about the game. And the reason why they forgot about the game is because they announced the nominees, I believe, in November. Then the game comes out in December 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Game Awards happen around the 6th or the first week of. So it got sandwiched in between the nominees announcement, the awards themselves, and it just got lost
It's bad timing. It's
in the
Nintendo's
shuffle.
fault.
Yeah.
They released it in December. They wanted that big last game for the holiday season, and you know me, I always kept saying that I think Xenoblade should have come in January or February of the following year. But you know, it didn't hurt the game that much, so I can retract on that. I just hate games coming in December. I hate the Smash Bros. Coming in December. I think Smash should come out November or something like that. I don't know. December, I think it's a tough holiday. So much competition. So I don't know. It's fine. They forgot about it. It's fine. I'll bet you after this, the next Xenoblade, they're not gonna forget about it because at least the fans were vocal enough to say, you know what, this game has more fans than we expected. Like they probably sitting back and saying, oh my god, we never knew, because there was no. I'll put it this way: there wasn't this much action for any game from any snub game from the nominees that Xenoblade. Xenoblade was
by far
the most vocal, hardcore. Like they were like, oh my god, this franchise has some strength. And maybe some people in the gaming industry is taking notice of Xenoblade. Remember, the first Xenoblade, people don't know this, that was an over 90 on a Metacritic. People were like, because again, it came out when the Wii was like done, right? And it just flew under people's eyes and they never respected it. A game that is over 90 on Metacritic. How many games are you getting over 90? On RPG
92.
getting over 90. You know what I'm saying?
92.
92. 92. So it's not like a 90 just rolling close down to 89. It's a full-on 92 on Metacritic, right? Flew under the weather. Then Xenoblade Chronicles X, by bad luck, came out on a console that it was dead too, which is the Wii U. And even though it did fine, I think it was at 84, something like that on Metacritic, it did not get the acclaim like the original. And then this Xenoblade so well. So you've been building that fan little by little. I think they're going to take notice next time, Caleones. I truly believe they will. So good for the fans. In my case, I'm really not mad at all that it got snubbed. It sucks, but I kind of expected it, in a sense, to get snubbed because of the time that the game was released. So, anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know it happens. And at the very least, the original Xenoblade Chronicles, it did get nominated for, I mean, what it used to be the Spike Awards,
Mm-hmm.
And it lost to Mass Effect 3. So I know the Mass Effect 3 is not the best one in the series. Mass Effect 2 is the best one, but
it was more. Remember, the Game Awards is a popularity contest, right? That's it.
Yeah. Well, it also lost best Wii game to New Super Mario Brothers U. So it lost to that one as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
So.
Like I said, again, the original Xenoblade just flew under the radar for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know that the first one in the franchise is over 90 on Metacritic. That's how good it was. So, hey, you're gonna feel the Monado. The Monado is growing in you right now. Anyway, let's go to let's go. I don't know what I meant there. Let's go to the nominees. What were the nominees, Caleones? And just hit on the important ones. Don't go into best esports or shit like that. I don't care. Just go into the big categories like best game of the year, adventure game, and shit like that.
Well, I'll say this. I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed because like nobody nominated us for any of the awards. Like our name is not on maybe like content creator of the year or something like that. We're not there.
Right, Caleones. Yeah, 1,000 subscribers don't get you that.
No, 1,011 subscribers. Not.
Woo!
It's like Xenoblade Chronicles, not 90, at 92, not 90, 92. So, but yeah, it's going with the I guess with the most important ones. You have, of course, the game of the year. So you got Celeste, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. That's for game of the year. Then you have the best ongoing games, like Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man. Well, actually, it's it's all component on here. But going with the best ongoing game. Okay, so it is Destiny 2, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six has been making a lot of money for Ubisoft. That game
Okay,
has
so
been going
let's
on for
go.
years.
Let's go quick. I don't care about the ongoing games, but let's start with Game of the Year. Who do you think is gonna win?
Game of the year, I believe, is going to be. Actually, I don't know because everybody thinks that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to win, but God of War has a really good chance of winning it as well.
I agree.
I know that
Based on the
Red Dead
Joy
Redemption,
Cons
yeah,
award or Golden Joy Cons, whatever was the award,
yeah,
God of War
joystick.
did really good on that award.
Mhm.
You know, beat Red Dead in a lot of categories. So, you know, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. I don't care if Red Dead wins. I think, you know, but you know, God of War has a fighting chance. Let me put it that way.
Okay, so let me ask you this one: who do you think is going to win on their best narrative
Tell
out
me.
of Detroit Become Human,
Mm-hmm.
God of War, Life is Strange 2, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2?
So
This is for outstanding storytelling in a game.
I believe that God of War should win based on how they presented the story. I think Red Dead may win just because of the hype with the game. But I also love how Spider-Man got told, and I also love how the other Detroit Become Human got told. I would say story-wise, my taste, Spider-Man would win for me on that category. But I think God of War is gonna take it.
Yeah, but I'll say this: that's a pretty good list for PlayStation 4 owners because you have Detroit Become Human, a PS4 exclusive, God of War, a PS4 exclusive, Marvel Spider-Man, a PS4 exclusive, and of course, the other games are available on the system as well. But 3 out of the 5 are actually Sony exclusive, so that's really good for PS4 owners. Let's go to another one. Since best performance. And this is how, voice acting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you have Brian Deschard as Connor in Detroit
Yep.
Become Human.
And he won on
Christopher
the Golden Joy-Cons Awards, whatever it's called.
Joystick.
Joystick, yeah.
Then you have the Christopher Judge as Kratos, Milisanti Mahant as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed, Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Marvel Spider-Man. So which one was your favorite performance out of those?
I know I'm gonna lose this one, but I think Yuri did an awesome job as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Really nailed the part on a character that is loved so much. People are putting him up there as the best Spider-Mans historically. So you have to give it to him, in my opinion, right? And I'm putting my vote that he's gonna win. So
yeah, I think Kratos says boy too many times on the game to probably win it. So that's probably what takes him out of contention. But let's go to best role playing game. Role playing game, they have Dragon Quest 11, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2. So no Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on that one. So who else do you think could win it?
I believe Monster Hunter World is gonna win, even though it's not an RPG per se, but they nominated it in that category just because how, again, this is a popularity contest, just because it was so popular early in the year. Monster Hunter owned first quarter of this year, right? So I believe just for that reason. Octopath has a fighting chance, but I think the front runner on that one is Monster Hunter World.
And I mean, yeah, there's nothing really else. Last one. Let's do one more. So last one is gonna be best multiplayer game. So you have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves.
Fortnite is winning that one.
So well, it's I'll say that some of the people on our chat are probably gonna agree with that as well. Like it did win Game of the Year for the Golden Joysticks as well. So. Well,
and that was a huge in the internet. Oh, like, damn, guys, you take this too seriously. Anyway, let's move on, kind of, though, because we're close to an hour and a half. I know this is a super show because we're not doing a Get In next Sunday. So Caleones, we're done with the hot topics, but let's move quickly because we also had a lot of news on Numa's news burst. So what is the first piece of news on Numa's news burst today, Caleones?
Okay, so the first piece of news is that little thing that they kept, like the rumors kept swirling that it was going to be coming out and it was about to be announced and it was going to be out for the holidays, and it was actually the engine that never could. Reggie shut it down and he said that the N64 Classic is not in plan in the horizon right now. So his exact quote was, "I would never rule out something, but what I can tell you is certainly that's not in our planning horizon." So what does that tell the people? So you can let them know what Reggie means about the N64 Classic. I'll give you my take, but what is your take from Reggie's comments?
They're gonna do it at some point, just not right now. That's how I take it. Really simple as that. There's not much to talk about this. It's just they don't have it right now on the plans. They're probably developing it right now, making it how they're gonna make it work, but they don't have no plans right now. And it's too bad because I know everybody wanted to see the PlayStation 1 against the N64 this Christmas season, but it's not happening. But it will happen, Caleones. Mark my words, it will happen.
Well, all I know is that how many times has Nintendo said we're not doing something, and then like a couple of days later, it turns out that they have. So I don't know. Like they want to announce it in their own terms. It is something that, like you said, it is happening at some point because they made so much money out of the NES and the Super NES Classic editions. Where the last time they announced that they've already sold over 10 million of them collectively. And so, why are they going to stop something that continues to make money for them? So, downside to it is that we might not. Well, there's two downsides. One, we not make. Maybe we're not going to get the rare collection of games in it. Two, maybe this is going to keep N64 games from coming out on the Switch sooner rather than later. So, those are the two downsides to it. But they're making so much money that it just makes sense for them to come up with the N64 Classic. But going over with the next one, and this is coming again from Reggie, and he said that Metroid Prime 4, quote unquote, is well in development. He said that internally we have expectations about when Metroid Prime 4 is going to be released. We haven't announced it, but yes, the game is well into development. So what does well into development mean, Dantes?
Just means it's going well, but it just means too I don't think it's launching next year. So I just want to make fun of Nintendo fans for saying that Sony always announces games too early when they use a JPEG to announce Metroid. But anyway, just letting that out there. Development is going well. It's just gonna how you call it, Caleones. It's gonna take a little bit longer. I think that's a 2020 game. So
I don't know. Like I believe that this game might be a 2020 game as well, but it would just make sense for them to release the Metroid Prime trilogy first before they release this one. So hopefully they're gonna find a way to release that on this on the Switch, of course, with upgraded engine and everything. Maybe somebody like Tantalus is gonna be on board doing something like that. They've already done great work when it came to Twilight Princess on the Wii U. From the GameCube version or Wii version, whichever one you want to say. But I think they're gonna do the Metroid Prime trilogy. But I'll say that keep your ears to the ground. We might be seeing something from Metroid Prime at the Game Awards. So hopefully that's gonna happen. They did say at the Game Awards that they're gonna have the most announcements of new games ever during the show. So hopefully things like Metroid Prime trilogy and things like that are going to be part of it. Hopefully, we're going to see Metroid Prime 4, maybe see a trailer from it. Well, into development could mean that maybe it could be ready by the end of next year. So who knows? But we're going to see something like that by the time the Game Awards start rolling. But going over to the next one, and this is Reggie. He's continuing with his talking tour and just going with details after details.
That should have been all in Hot Topics if it wasn't so full, because in honor of Reggie, all those news should have been in Hot Topic. But anyway, go ahead, Caleones.
Okay, so this is from Reggie, and this in a conversation with The Verge. They were talking about the 2018 lineup and 2019, and he said that, well, and talking about from the article. So I'll read what it says on here. But whether or not Nintendo hits its 2018 numbers, the future seems bright for the Switch. In addition to already announced titles like Fire Emblem Three Houses and a new Animal Crossing and a proper mainline Pokemon game, Fisamed teased, or Reggie teased that there are also brand new surprises that we haven't yet shared to look forward to. So what we want to do is surprise and delight our fans in ways that they didn't think of, didn't even think of. So, okay, so we already know that 2019, if the games that are supposed to be coming out come out, you're probably going to see, we're going to see Yoshi. It has already been confirmed for 2019. We're going to see Fire Emblem Three Houses for 2019 as well. We're probably going to see Animal Crossing. Well, they say Animal Crossing 2019, so we're going to see Animal Crossing next year. We might see Metroid Prime 4. We might see Bayonetta 3. So
you're forgetting one game that they announced that is for 2019. I'm really disappointed in you right now.
Well, one of the other games that they're talking about is Demon Ex Machina, so that's another one.
Still, they haven't mentioned the game that I'm really disappointed in you right now. Which game are you missing right now?
You can whenever you want to, you can jump in and help me out with it.
Luigi's Mansion, dude. God damn,
okay.
that is announced for 2019.
That's your game of the year for 2019. So and Luigi's Mansion 3, of course, is one of the other ones. So hey, Cool Drummer, welcome to the chat. But yes, 2019 so far is a big year, and to say that aside from this and the Pokemon game as well, that they may have other games to be announced as well. Maybe they're going to be ports. Maybe they're going to talk about Wonderful 101 on the Switch. Maybe it's going to be other games as well. Maybe Mario, like Paper Mario, Color Splice. Maybe that's going to be another one. It could be the Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover as well. So it all depends. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is another one that is scheduled for 2019. So that's just creating hype without really giving you details.
So,
again, yeah.
I mean, so quick because again we're in news burst, but I think they already announced the big games. They're not gonna announce a big game. I think what you're gonna get is smaller titles, maybe some remakes, maybe some re-releases from the Wii U game, like I don't know, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I don't know, that could come out. But no more big games, Caleones, because they need to manage their portfolio. That's why I'm pretty sure that, and I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Metroid Prime just makes sense 2020, right? Then you can have a Pikmin 4, should be a 2020 title, because again, you're already stacking up your lineup for next year, Caleones. I think they need to manage their portfolio really well. They don't want to oversaturate 2019 with all the games that they already have coming up. So I believe that like a Pikmin or a Bayonetta 3, that could be also a 2020 game. I may be wrong, but Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4. But we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, we may not only get a Bayonetta 3 next year. Maybe we'll get a Bayonetta crossover with Devil May Cry and Castlevania. So who knows? 2019 is wide open for it. But yes, so I'll go ahead and I'll go with the next one. And the next piece of news,
Cool
of
Drummer
course,
says I have a Switch. Good for you. Good for you.
Okay, so Cool Drummer, go ahead and type on the comments and let us know what games you're playing on the Switch right now. I know there's a bunch of free-to-play games that you should be getting on the system, from day one. But yes, let us know. And of course, like the next piece of news is that Adi Shankar finally revealed the game that he was going to be converting into a TV show. Sadly, it did not turn out to be The Legend of Zelda, but it is actually Devil May Cry, which is Dantes' one of Dantes' favorite franchises, and it's actually the avatar that he uses for his profile on Skype, where we actually do the recording on here. So, I know that there's a lot of people that were disappointed, but that's because of all the hype that was created by different mediums. But with this announcement, where is your hype level when it comes to Dantes and Devil May Cry joining the Castlevania world?
I'll say middle. Not too much hype. Like I already explained this to Caleones, but I'll say it to the peeps. I was more excited about a Zelda announcement because we haven't seen a good Zelda TV show, a cartoon TV show. We have not seen it. We have seen, and people may not know this, we have seen a good Devil May Cry anime, which I have. I don't know if I have it somewhere here. I'll show it later up, but I have. So I have seen the capabilities, Caleones, of a good Devil May Cry TV series already. So I've got my feel a little bit. We haven't had it from a good Zelda show. So I was more excited about that, honestly. But still, Caleones, I'm happy about this. I'm going to watch it now. Now I'm interested in watching Castlevania because I am not a Castlevania fan. But now since they're the same universe, I need to watch
Yes,
the Castlevania TV show to
it
get
is
ready
a
for Devil May
multiverse.
Cry.
Yeah, like you said, it is a multiverse, so it's going to be interesting how they incorporate those different worlds into the same one. And by being a multiverse, that's why I say like something like Bayonetta joining, I think would be perfect because you're continuing to take different franchises that they in a way kind of fit together. So I mean, you can see Dantes fighting demons and vampires, so that's something that you can actually see happening as well. So it's going to be cool having like Ebony and Ivory and going at it with them.
Well,
So
hopefully
uh,
the Dante they're gonna bring is the original one, not the emo one. So let me put it that way.
well, from what it sounds like, it is going to be the original one.
Cool. That's so yeah. I'm all war. Go ahead with the next one, Caleones.
Okay, and this is coming directly from Russia. I know that you already alluded to it, but this is a former Nintendo. Well, I'm just gonna read the title from my Nintendo news. So they wrote it says the former Nintendo of Russia employees are accusing CEO Jasha Hadadi of blackmailing, abuse, sexual harassment, and more. So not only are they accusing him of this, but there was actually a video that came out where it was kind of like a setup, or kind of like the
Like
same
a
thing that you would
streaming,
say. It was
promoting
a
games.
stream of
Yep.
yeah of Mario Kart 8, and
He was
there
being a
were
douche, treating the employees really bad. So
well, he was treating the employees kind of like the way you treat your employees when you're like not on camera. But actually, no, you don't treat them like that. But I
I
believe
treat
there
him really
was
well. Trust me. I'm the best love manager of all time. Just saying. But
well,
anyway, go ahead.
you you take them out for drinks every Friday.
Yeah.
But but yes, there was a lot of profanity used, and somehow I don't know how he missed it because they kept saying that we're live, we're live, and he still went on camera. He still went after him. He said that he was gonna fire him. That to go ahead and pick up everything, discussing the payment and everything on the live stream, and just a couple of f bombs and things like that. Just like, basically something that you would never expect from a Nintendo employee, much less a CEO that represents Nintendo, and this in this case the Nintendo of Russia CEO. So the big question, what everybody's going to want to know, than this: should this person keep their job?
No, to get fired. If I mean, let me put it this way. I'm gonna again because this is news burst. I don't want to make a huge rant, but Nintendo goes after a couple for ROMs. That's more important to them. But this person who's basically being a dick, treating employees bad, being accused of sexual assault and shit like that, sexual abuse or whatever, it still has his job as of right now, Caleones. If this was a U.S. office, that person, if this was Reggie, he would have been fired already because in the U.S., they're a little bit more sensitive to stuff like that. But that guy should not have his job. There's proof that he's treating his employees as shit. And Nintendo, instead of caring about, a couple that puts ROMs on site, should be also caring about their employees in Russia. And anyway, I don't know what to say. A simple answer: he needs to get fired. So
Yeah, I'll say this: I work for a Fortune 500 company. We have offices in the U.S. and we have offices in other countries as well, countries close to Russia, and we have different HR department rules. So for things that we would do here in the US where you would get fired like this, they actually give you chance after chance after chance in different countries, even when us here in the US push to dismiss certain people, they have more protections than we do. So I don't know what kind of protections are going to be on this one, but you would think that with a company like Nintendo, they have a lot more say, especially Nintendo Japan. And I know that Nintendo Japan is not going to go for this. Nintendo of America is not going to go for this. Europe, I'm not sure how they're going to be over there, but I mean, they are Nintendo of Japan and America. They will get rid of this person if they can, unless this person has certain protections when it comes to HR and things like that based on the country. That's another thing, but I don't see that person lasting more than a week after all of that came out. So, and that's on video, so it's not he said,
It's
she
been a
said.
week already, Caleones.
Well, is the person still there?
Yep.
So then I'm talking about there's got to be certain protections in place to try to keep him there. So we'll see. I don't think that person. Well, I don't think for me, I would get rid of that person quick because it not only sounds like it's somebody that really doesn't care about the people, in the workplace and doesn't treat their employees with respect, but it's not really driving the Nintendo brand either. Like, of course, with this is that's not good for the Nintendo brand, but at the same time, they're not really pushing Nintendo in Russia to kind of like attain its biggest potential. So there's a lot of missed opportunities over there happening under his control from everything that I've heard. So either way, this is just a really good excuse to be able to get rid of him and put somebody else in place.
Okay, go with the next one.
Okay, and now we're just going to be talking about three different announcements of games that are going to be coming out on the Switch. First one's going to be for Blazing Chrome. Is going to come out on the Switch early 2019. Aside from this one, and I think what was the biggest announcement, even though it kind of got since it got leaked and it created some hype where people thought it was going to be coming out sooner than later, but Smite is going to be coming out on January 24th on the Nintendo Switch. So this one was actually a pretty big announcement. Right now, you can pre-order the Founders Pack, but the Smite game, it is going to be a free-to-play game. And the biggest thing on this is that I'm just gonna say, like, so far as they know, um, PlayStation is not going to be part of the party. So it's going to be cross-compatible, cross-play between the Switch, Xbox, PC. But at this moment, PlayStation 4 is not part of it. I'm pretty sure from now until January, they're probably gonna try to work something out because we already saw the whole PR debacle from Fortnite, even though it was a little bit different because in that case you couldn't move your account. But we'll see what happens. So um, I think it will. I think they will make it work. But so far, um, it is Smite and Realm Royale, which are going to be coming to the Switch in 2019.
No
Um,
comments. Keep going with the next.
okay. Well, I just want to yes or no. Do you think by January of next year, before the game releases, or by the time the game releases, that Sony might work something out where they're going to be cross play compatible as well?
I think Sony is doing crossplay case by case basis, and what I mean with that is depending how popular the game is. So it's the truth. I'm not gonna defend it. I'm not gonna damage control for them. I think they're doing it as in a sly kind of way. And what I mean with that is saying, yeah, we got crossplay, but unless you're Fortnite or Rocket League, don't call us. We call you.
Yeah.
It's just saying.
Yeah, and I want to add, they also announced that for Paladins, they're gonna have crossplay as well at the start of next year, and of course, it's gonna be Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So for those of you Nintendo Switch owners, you're gonna have a bigger pool of players joining in and playing online. So hopefully, that's gonna allow the game to have a longer life. But going over with the last piece of news, and this is gonna make a lot of guys with low etika happy.
No pun
And
intended.
we're talking about Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Scarlet, which is, I mean, I was looking at the videos. I heard the announcement, I looked at the video, and I'm not really sure what the game is about. All I saw is
You
that
know what the game is about. The
it
same
is not
about that
about
other game that is about massaging girls.
it's not about fighting, that's for sure. So
Volleyball. It's a
uh,
volleyball game.
yeah, but I saw them posing and taking pictures, and so they weren't playing volleyball. I don't know what they were doing.
Anyway, the only thing I want to bring to this, and the reason I put it is, Sony with their censoring that's going on right now. The question now, because Sony used to own what I would call the perv area of the gaming industry. That's why it used to be called the perv station. So, are the perps moving to the Switch, Caleones? That's my question to you.
Well, I'm not gonna say perps are moving to the Switch, but a lot more of the Japanese players are moving over to the Switch. I mean,
So
if you
you're
want to
calling
take it
them
that way.
pervs?
We're calling them more open-minded when it comes to.
Yeah. Let's go with that. So Caleones, we're done. We're done with the news burst. Let's move quickly into our favorite supermarket, Chiguero's Supermarket. Go ahead, Caleones. What are the hot games that came out in the market this week? There are a couple good games. So this week, good games. Go ahead, Caleones.
Yeah.
What were the Let's just give the
I
good
mean-
shit. If there's like weird games like sumo shit that it was red there, you can jump on sumo shit. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna call them quick. So you had the SNK 48th anniversary collection, Project High Rise Architects Edition, My Riding Stables, Life with Horses, Mayong. You had Palm Reading Premium, Chalk Dash Carnival, Trailblazers, Tin Boy, Teddy the Wanderer Kayaking, Swamp Defense 2, Super Hydro Raft, Solitaire Battle Royale, Soap Dogging, Rockets, Mother Russia Bleeds, Mimpy Dreams, Maze Space Shooter, Johnny Turbo's Arcade Heavy Barrel, Destruction, Arcade Archives, Atomic Robo Kid, Stakes Winners 2, Toast Time Smash Up, Sid Meier's Civilizations 6, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee Edition, Mars Chaos Menace, Coloring Books, Circle of Sumo, and they had a re-release of Super Mario Party, which is a bundle. It's actually a pretty good price. Super Mario Party game, the two Joy Cons, and it retails for $99.99. So that's a pretty good value. You know that the Joy Cons by themselves they cost $79.99. So I think that's a pretty good price. But I'll say that I'm a little bit split because you had the Pokemon Let's Go game, which is by far the biggest release of the year for Nintendo up to this point, and at least until Smash comes out. But you also had Civilization 6 come out, which is doing pretty good with the reviews. Let me go ahead and take a quick look on here. And so far, the Metacritic for the game, Switch reviews, and it has, well, actually, it's gotten two reviews. So far, it has a 94 from IGN and an 89 from Hobby Consoles. So, I mean, if you put them together, it's still a 90 Metacritic score. And a lot of people are praising the game. So hopefully it's going to continue to do good. We haven't gotten more reviews from the game because everybody, of course, wanted to jump on the Pokemon Let's Go bandwagon and make sure to have those reviews and everything ready by the game's release. But hopefully we're going to get more feedback out of Civilization 6. And so far, so good. They're enjoying it. But, of course, there's no denying Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee are the games of the week.
Okay, and with that, Caleones, we are done. An hour and 50 minutes. This has been the longest Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast of all time. Maybe someday we'll break the record. But with that, Caleones, let's start that rigmarole. Let me put that Xenoblade music. And I want to thank everybody who stopped by for the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 70. right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell so you can make these two crazy MFs happy. Also remember, if you don't want to see ugly faces, Caleones, we got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, remember, description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. Monday, we got PlayStation Monday. Of course, I will be playing Spider-Man for your entertainment. But aside from that, this week, we're shutting down operations. We will be back next Monday for another PlayStation Monday. And of course, Wednesday, Nintendo Wednesday. Saturday, Force In Unison streams. We try a new format this Saturday, which is we're talking about the news as we play. So if you guys want to see that new format, please come join us. And of course, Sunday, the Get In and Get Out. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, thank you again for joining us. Long live Nintendo. Good night, everybody. That scene of the music is fire, and it didn't get nominated. Game Award. Good night, everybody.